I remain stunned that this dire warning late last week from FBI Director Christopher Wray has largely been ignored by the media.
I would be hard-pressed to think of a time where so many threats to our public safety and national security were so elevated all at once. But that is the case as I sit here today. We've seen the threat from foreign terrorists rise to a whole nother level after October 7th. We continue to see the cartels push fentanyl and other dangerous drugs into every corner of the country, claiming countless American lives. We've seen a spate of ransomware and other cyber attacks impacting parts of our critical infrastructure and businesses, both large and small. Violent crime, which reached alarming levels coming out of the pandemic, remains far too high and is impacting far too many communities. China continues its relentless effort to steal our intellectual property and most valuable information. And that is just scratching the surface.
And yet Director Wray being forced to plead with the House Appropriations Committee not to slash the FBI budget by more than $500 million, as the most recent spending package calls for.
With our fiscal year 2024 budget having now come in almost $500 million below what the FBI needs just to sustain our 2023 efforts. And candidly, this could not have come at a worse time.
But legislators, particularly those on the far right, seem determined to defund the FBI, making those same totally unsupported arguments that the FBI has been politicized and weaponized against Republicans, making the same sort of dumb defund arguments that the far left made in the wake of the George Floyd case. So now political talking points may actually jeopardize our safety. Right from the outset, Appropriations Subcommittee Chair Hal Rogers made it clear that Director Wray's warnings were not what he really wanted to focus on.
Beyond the funding implications of the budget request, I'm also interested in the ongoing issues at the FBI that include but not limited to the erosion of public trust in the Bureau. This includes the FBI's overly aggressive tactics, questionable investigative standards, and the overall politicization of the Bureau.
There's been an erosion of public trust in the Bureau, thanks to some on the right regularly claiming the FBI is somehow being weaponized against conservatives, and constantly that theme being echoed on Fox News, like this just from last night.
Where's the FBI? Where's Intel as they're going after Donald Trump supporters and pro-lifers and Catholics?
Now CIA and FBI worry more about DEI, and the bad guys can see it.
And these are people that go to work every single day. You know what they're madder than hell about? It's about a two-tier justice system.
That is how you erode public trust in the FBI. The legislators push these unsupported talking points. Partisan cable news repeats them. California Republican Congressman Mike Garcia, which is insulting to Director Wray.
I don't trust you. I don't think that this is necessarily a funding problem that we have for your agency as much as a leadership problem. And between the lack of transparency in hearings like this and in Intel hearings, your weaponization and politicization of issues and instruments of national security.
Director Wray was not allowed to respond immediately, but later pointed out a very inconvenient fact to Congressman Garcia and the others on the committee.
I was nominated by President Trump and have overwhelmingly confirmed without a single Republican senator ever voting against me, whether nominated by President Bush or President Trump.
Chris Wray, a lifelong Republican, nominated by former President Trump and unanimously confirmed by Senate Republicans. At another hearing back in November, the director delivered an even more comprehensive defense response to another vocal critic, Republican Senator Ron Johnson.
I see an FBI every day that conducts themselves with integrity and professionalism and selflessness and rigor. And I do not accept the characterization of our performance. And the idea that I, as a Republican appointee and a lifelong Republican, am biased in the way that you are describing makes absolutely no sense.
It makes absolutely no sense. And you don't have to take Director Wray's word for it, because for an FBI that some Republicans are convinced is out to get them, they sure seem to be targeting an awful lot of Democrats. Just in the past 2 years, former Democratic Congressman T.J. Cox of California, Karen Carter Peterson, former head of the Louisiana Democratic Party, former Tallahassee mayor and Florida gubernatorial candidate Andrew Gillum, all charged on various counts related to fraud. And of course, there's Democratic Senator Bob Menendez facing a slew of charges in a major case involving bribery, acting on behalf of foreign government. Other high-profile Democrats are under federal investigation as well, including New York City Mayor Eric Adams, being investigated over alleged campaign finance violations, possible ones. Federal agents recently raided the home of a former aide to the mayor, and Congresswoman Cori Bush, she's being investigated over an alleged misuse of campaign funds. You never hear any of those names from any of the Republicans who insist the FBI is just out to get us. Those names all conveniently forgotten. Look, it is one thing to push this nonsense when it's just sort of rhetoric, red meat for the base who just wants to get on cable news. But now we're talking real-world consequences for the FBI and for all of us. $500 million in cuts. Republicans are right when they talk about the threats we face from China and the threats we face at the border. Those are concerns some Democrats ignore. But those same Republicans want to take $500 million away from the federal agency in charge of facing those threats. That means an FBI that's being seriously hampered in doing its job, which is protecting us.
We continue to see the cartels push fentanyl and other dangerous drugs into every corner of the country. Violent crime, which reached alarming levels coming out of the pandemic, remains far too high and is impacting far too many communities. China continues its relentless effort to steal our intellectual property and most valuable information. And that is just scratching the surface.
Lifelong Republican Chris Wray and the hardworking men and women of the FBI are the ones who bravely stand between each of those threats and all of us every day. That is the pro-law enforcement view of this. Defunding the police was a horrible idea from the left, and it's a horrible idea from the right as well.